The hardest thing about first year law was that people were a lot more driven and a lot more competitive than high school.
I found the transition from high school to university a little bit challenging because I was used to being very spoon-fed at high school.
The difference between learning style in high school was that you just memorize what your teacher tells you, whereas in university you have to actually study the things and come up with your own opinion.
I chose Momentum Tutoring because it was really unique and different to the other tutoring services available. They offered feedback whenever I wanted it, and I was able to send them my answers. They also really knew what was happening in the uni because a lot of the tutors were very fresh graduates of first and second year compared to a lot of the other tutoring service where the people had kind of already left uni.
My experience of Momentum was that I signed up halfway through the year and my grades dramatically increased after that.
So the reason why I chose Momentum was Hayden approached me personally and he had the program explained to me all in detail. It seemed to fit into what I wanted out of a private tutoring system. So yeah.
I chose Momentum Tutoring because of the hands-on approach, because it was more directed and guided.
Momentum Tutoring really helped my marks because they really set me on the right direction, and I could email them my work and they could tell me what I was doing, if it was right or wrong, whereas if you just went to lectures and the university tutorings, you would have no idea if what you were doing was correct.
I feel like Momentum helped me greatly in going into law school. They told me things that I didn't know, and they helped me learn things that I wouldn't have been able to learn had I just been to lectures and uni tutorials.
The most helpful thing about all the tutorials last year was the people I met, the interactions I had, and the way that the tutors taught me rather than everyone.
So the difference between the Momentum tutorials and the university tutorials is that the university tutorials meet once every 2 weeks and it's very crammed into an hour, whereas Momentum tutorials you could email whenever you wanted and they had regular office hours and you could kind of essentially bring up anything that you didn't understand, whereas the university tutorials were much more set and rigid.
Initially it seemed like a very high cost, but now that I look back into it, the feedback and the help that I got from the tutorial seems like something you won't be able to get from other tutorial systems. Yeah, I'd highly recommend it.
If you're considering joining Momentum Tutoring, I say go for it. It's worth it, and recently I went to law orientation and I know I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for them.